Welcome, everybody, to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast. I'm Pete Wright, and right there is sick Nikki Kinzer.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Hi, Pete.
You make
I'm
me
sick.
sad. You are. But I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
And luckily, this week is a digital episode.
Yay. I don't have to do much talking then, right?
Exactly. That's right. Well, you got to do a little bit of talking, but not too much, I promise.
Okay.
Since this is a digital week, and I love digital weeks, and we're coming off the heels of some kind of gloomy episodes.
I know, right?
I want to talk about playing. I want to talk about playing this week.
Playing?
Yeah.
Like playing games?
Yes, I want to talk about playing games and walking
fun.
around. It's going to be fun. So before we get into that, head over to takecontroladhd.com and get to know us a bit better. You can listen to the show right there on the website or jump over to iTunes or your podcast application of choice and subscribe for free, the very best way to ensure you don't miss a single episode. Please connect with us on Twitter or Facebook at Take Control ADHD and call us. Woohoo! Leave us a voicemail at 503-664-4ADD. That's right, 503.
That's new.
It's totally new. 503-664-4ADD. And get your voice, your thoughts, your questions on this show. We would totally love to hear from you.
So now if they go to the website, they'll get that phone number?
Yeah, it's on the website too. Just click on the podcast page. It's right there. It says new. Call in and share your thoughts for Nikki and Pete.
That's exciting.
It's so exciting. So we definitely want to hear from you. And I think the only thing to add there is that we just need to know, and it says this in the voicemail message, we just need to know that we have your permission to use your voice on the show. We would love to use your voice. If you leave us a message, we would love to hear you and your thoughts. But you got to tell us, yes, you can use my voice on the show. So please do that.
And they don't have to use their name.
No, don't have to use your name, but if you, it helps us, I think, if you want to tell us if we can use your voice and use your name. We won't use full names, just your, first name, or change my name if you want us to change your name. But we just need to know before we broadcast you.
I'm going to start calling you Bill.
You can call me Smokey.
Smoky Bill.
All right. Okay, one last thing. I think we're coming up on open enrollment for group coaching, right quick?
Yes. And we're changing it a little bit.
Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about this? Can you get through this part?
I think so,
okay.
Without coughing.
Good deal.
Yeah. No, I'm changing it a little bit because I want it to be a little bit maybe user friendly. I don't know what the term is, but before I had kind of a 3 minute commitment.
It's a very short commitment.
Yeah. Anybody can commit to 3 minutes, right?
That's right.
No, it was a 3-month commitment. And I've decided to just kind of go month to month. So if it's not for you, you don't have to continue. And if it is for you, then of course I want you to continue. So we've changed the open enrollment will start March 1st, but after that it'll be pretty much month to month, right? Isn't that how you worded it, I believe?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah. That's a plan. You can join each at the end. I think Nikki's going to be going through and processing new registrations at the end of each month. So the last week of each month for beginning the next month. So you can register anytime. Just know you'll actually be put into a group the following month. You can't start. Correct. You can't just start anytime. You got to start the first week of the month. So,
Correct. Yeah. And we narrowed it down to 2 groups, the ADHD moms and the ADHD professionals. I just didn't have the interest for the organizing group. And if you're listening to this and you're like, no, I want that group, then please call in and you can let us know or send me an email. But the last time around, there just wasn't enough interest to form that group. And so I decided to eliminate that for now. But that certainly doesn't mean that, that has to be like that forever.
Yes.
But I need to know if you're interested too. That's,
Yeah. Absolutely. So absolutely register. The registration option will go live probably by the time you hear this. It will be live so that you can register. And if it's not live by then, that's on me.
Yeah, and I'm going to blame you.
So I will take
Smokey Pete
Smokey
or
Bob.
Bill or whoever you're going to go by that day. Yeah. The other thing that I was going to say, and now I see I'm in a fog because I'm sick and I don't remember what it was now, but maybe it will come back to me.
I will call it a faith healing if it does. I can wait.
I hate that.
I know, it's
like
terrible.
It's just this fleeting thought that, I got to say this, and then it's gone.
We were talking about the groups. Talking about people calling, registering.
I just remembered.
Not bad, right?
just remembered the next set of groups are going to start in the not the very first week of April, because that's kind of a funky half March, half April week, but it's the week of April 6th, I think, is that Monday. It will start that week. That's what I was going to say.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
I think I need to stop talking now.
That's okay. All right. So here's what I've been thinking about. I spend a lot of time in front of gear, right? I do. I love technology. I love using technology around the house, and I sometimes take for granted the way we use tech around our house. As I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine the other day who was struggling with his kids who use technology, right? There's always this iPad or this Xbox or games, and there's always just, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then they just kind of disappear into it, right? And he was just really frustrated that all his kids ever wanted to do was play games. And he even enjoys games. He just wasn't, his kids would disappear. And so I get to thinking, I want to talk about just three things, maybe three things plus a bonus thing, that I do around the house here, some things we're just starting to do that really help my relationship with my kids and technology and action, getting out and playing, using tech, and really keeps me moving. And that's kind of the ADHD connection, right? Because when I get into kind of hyper focus mode, if I find myself not moving enough, I will get absorbed into the screen, just like my kids could. And I won't ever leave, I won't ever get up and out. And so these are some of the accommodations that I've made for myself to keep me moving while enjoying playing. So,
good.
Yes.
Let's hear them.
All right. So number one, my goodness, play games with your kids.
Well, that makes sense.
It really doesn't. It make sense. So I know this is a tough one for some people, but kids love games, and they love games even more when you're involved, right? So right now at our house, we're playing through the Lego Marvel and Lego DC series on our Xbox, which is a massive set of worlds in which you kind of run around as this assortment of Lego-fied comic book heroes, and it's a blast. I play with my son. We get up, we move around, we yell at the TV. It's really, really fun, and they're so huge that you just can't get tired of them. Right? It takes forever to get tired of them. We played Lego Marvel all summer long. Every day we played a little bit all summer long. But this is.
I thought you were going to say every day, all day long.
All day long. We could have, but we did set some limits. And what I found is that when the kids are accustomed to consistent limits of play with dad, they don't get as frustrated when it's time to turn off. Right? They know that they're working toward a half hour with dad or even an hour with dad sitting in front of the TV, really, getting into it. As long as I'm living right there in that moment with my son, and I'm not checking my phone every 5 minutes while I'm playing with him. But if I'm really playing and we're trying to solve a puzzle, there is no trouble there's always a little bit of like, But
what you're doing is you're modeling you're modeling basically how to transition out of doing something fun and setting limits to it into something else. I mean, You're modeling for him something, a really important skill.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It is really fun, and it's frankly, it's modeling for me too, because I could play all day if he wasn't there. I could jump into it and play all day, and so we're sort of doing this. We're kind of accountability partners a little bit, and that ends up being. And he's 8, so he doesn't know what he's doing for me, but just being there is a reminder of my responsibility to him, and we're having fun. But once we finish and we unplug, but we're not really done playing, that's when we dig into augmented reality. Mm-hmm. So you've heard of geocaching, right?
Yes.
So we've talked maybe a little bit about geocaching. So I'm not going to talk about geocaching right now. I'm going to talk about a game called Ingress. Have you heard of Ingress?
No, I have not.
Ingress is available on iOS and Android, and it is a game from Google that uses your phone's GPS and mapping capability to lead you on an adventure, quite literally around the world, right?
Wow.
When you turn it on, you see your location, and then you see these portals, right, around your immediate vicinity, like in your neighborhood even, or in your city if you're walking around downtown Portland, for example. Major landmarks are marked as portals, right? So you walk to each portal and you deploy. Once you get there, it says, here, go stand right here. And you can deploy this thing called a beacon. And when you surround the portal with beacons, you take over that portal for your faction. So you're either part of the resistance or the enlightened. That's kind of the game. And then you grow your faction's presence in your neighborhood or your city or your state. And it's super fun. I love it because it's running around. It's a running around game. You're outside, you're visiting these wonderful landmarks around your city, and you're still using your phone to do it. And so it's a great experience to get outside, run down the hill, turn it on with my kids and say, hey, let's go find this next thing.
Wow, that's cool. I've never heard of that.
It is really cool. It's it's a little bit complex in terms of the sign up, not the sign up, but the setup, right? Because it's kind of an adult story, and I don't mean like adult like it's ooh, that's adult. It's just a sophisticated story, and so I kind of soften that one and just we're looking for that little dot. We're looking to put this thing there. We soften that one a little bit. But it ends up being really, really fun, and it tires us out. And so Ingress was available for Android for a long, long time before it hit iOS. It's still, I think, under a year old on iOS, but it's a lot of fun. We're still just kind of getting into it. It's a great alternative when you want to play games, but you also want to get outside. So I love that. And then when you're exhausted from running around playing Ingress, you got to go take the kids and get a bite to eat, right? Have you've used Yelp? Yes?
I've heard of it, but I've never used it.
Wait, what? That was sarcastic. You seriously have never used it?
I've heard. I'm not even sure if I know what it is.
Oh my gosh. Download Yelp. That's like table stakes for this conversation. So Yelp is a great app that shows you, it allows you, it's like a recommendation engine for, restaurants and bars and, places you can go buy things. You can leave recommendations and referrals and reviews of of places you have visited in your city. It's really, really great. So I use Yelp all the time anyway, but there's a feature in Yelp that I'm consistently surprised doesn't get more attention because it's really fun. And again, the kids love it and it keeps you kind of walking. When you open Yelp on your phone, you hit the More menu, and then you hit Monocle. So Yelp Monocle. This is Yelp's augmented reality overlay of the world around you. So when you're using Monocle, you hold your phone upright, like you're taking a selfie, right? You're looking at the screen and you see the world around you. But as you turn your phone, so you turn your body around, you will see overlaid on top of the world Yelp entries for restaurants that are in that direction. So like I'm doing it right now, and I can see the distance of Alan's Authentic Mexican Restaurant and Munchkin Playland. And it's just, these are things that are pretty close to me. Like I walk out the door, and if I hold my phone up, I am walking toward these places where I can go get a bite to eat. So it's a really fun way to use augmented reality and see what's in the world around you and how far it is away by using your phone's camera.
Wow.
It is really, really cool and very clever, and it's kind of hidden. I don't know that it's that it's something that, it's really cool, but it's not like a premier feature that Yelp talks about a lot. And so I think more people need to check it out. So Yelp Monocle.
Yelp.
Now, yes. Now, when you're sitting at the restaurant, you find a good place to eat, and now you're bored because you're tired and you're kind of just sitting and you're not talking all that much. And you know what I used to do when I was a kid in this mode? I would take the napkin ring. There's the paper kind of waxy sealed napkin ring that seals up the silverware around the napkin. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Piece of paper.
Yeah.
So you take it and you fold it in triangles and you make a paper football. And then I'd flick it at my dad. Do you remember?
Awesome.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever do any flicking of the paper?
I'm sure we rolled them up, like we would roll up the paper from straws.
Yeah.
And then we would try to like rip the paper, in the middle without like ripping the whole thing, or we try to do it all in one like line.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I don't really remember doing paper.
Well,
airplanes, or what did you call it?
These are paper footballs. You make triangles, you wrap them up and you make triangles, and then you hold one up with your finger, and the other person holds their fingers up like a goalpost, and you flick it, and you try to make a goal with it. It's tabletop football, right? Well, now, thank God we have augmented reality. because so you take your phone and you go to the iOS or Android App Store and you download 2 games from Augmented Pixels. Now, Augmented Pixels is a great development company, and they make really high-end augmented reality tools for developers and real estate agents and so on, people who are modeling, toys. They can see them in a virtual reality space, really high-end stuff. But they have these 2 games. One of them is called AR Basketball, and one is called Reality Hoops. And they're augmented reality basketball games that you could play at the table. It's so fun. So with AR Basketball, it requires you to have you have to have printed out a little grid. It's like this. It's like a QR code, right? But you print it out. It's free. You can get it on the website, and you print it out and just kind of put it in your wallet. Then, when you get to the table, you unfold it and you put it down on the table somewhere. And when you look at that grid through your phone, it becomes a magical augmented reality basketball hoop.
Wow.
And on your phone, you just flick the basketball into the hoop. And so you can put the hoop on a cup. You can put the hoop somewhere. And you're flicking virtual basketballs across the table at each other. And you can play in teams. You can pass the phone back and forth to get points. And it ends up being just really, really fun and funny way to use the table and your tech and play games. Now, I know a lot of parents would think, oh my gosh, that's so annoying. But really, again, if you're playing games with your kids and you're playing virtual basketball with your kids, it becomes less annoying.
Right.
Yeah. The other version I mentioned too, the other one is called Reality Hoops, and that one doesn't require the little paper grid, but it ends up being not quite as interesting.
I have to say, I swear to God, I thought you said Reality Poops.
No, that's a different augmented reality game. Very different. That's different and horrible.
My hearing's not very good right now.
Horrible game. Nobody plays that game. It's like the worst game in the App Store.
That's what I thought that's what you said. Yeah. That's why I laughed after you said it.
It is Reality Hoops. And it does not require the little printed card. But the hoop just sort of floats out in space on little rockets, and it's not quite as much fun, and it doesn't use as much of sort of the table. So I think AR Basketball is the way to go. So there you go. So you're playing games with your kids, and then you go outside and you play Ingress, and then you go get a bite to eat. Now you have a game to play at the table. That's my whole pitch today.
That's fun.
Get out and move and still use your technology while you're doing it.
Yeah, and then the kids are happy, and you're happy, and
that's it.
Yeah. Good.
I have nothing else to say.
I learned a lot of stuff today. I'm
so glad you did. I fully expect you to download Yelp, like ASAP, 8 o'clock day one.
Yeah. I'd heard of it. I just, I used the old app Around Me that would kind of tell me where things were if I, wasn't sure where I was or where I, what I wanted to eat or whatever.
Right. Yeah,
but,
that's probably
that sounds like it's a little more updated.
Yeah, I think Yelp is, and Yelp really, I think, can really help the vendors too. I mean, businesses, right? You'll go to a store and you'll see the Yelp sticker in their window and know that they're Yelp friendly, and you want to you want to sort of check in and leave a nice review. So just like we love nice reviews on our podcast.
We sure do.
We sure do.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have nothing else to say. I think we're done. You need to go back to bed.
I know. I need to go rest.
All right. So find us, connect with us. We'd love to hear from you. Call us 503-664-480D on behalf of the sad and sickly Nikki Kinzer. I'm Pete Wright. Sad. We'll catch you next week on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.